Let's talk about one of the major drawbacks of Notion databases. There's no support for foreign keys. In English, the problem looks like this. Let's say you have a series of databases. We'll start with the client or company database. It makes sense that you would have projects for that company, and there's an easy relationship between the company and its projects. In the template for companies, you add a linked view to the projects table. Then, in the filter for projects on the company template, you use a filter to force the project's company to match the name of the template. That way, for all new companies, the project filter will automatically point to the proper company. Now let's go a little deeper and say that for each project, there are a series of meeting notes that you might make. There's also an easy relationship between the projects and the notes. However, we don't have a way to enforce that the note should also have a link back to the company. Yes, we could add that filter manually for every project that we create, but there's no way to set that up at the template level. And if we extend our model still further, we recognize that during any meeting where we're taking notes, we need to extend the relationships to show which tasks came from individual meeting notes. We can set up a linked view and filter in the Notes template just like we did for the company and projects. However, not only will we miss the link between the task and the project, but we also lack an automated approach to link the task back to the company. What we need is a way to enforce what is called referential integrity so that all of these common objects are appropriately linked to each other. The project management framework for Notion already does this. Native automations in Notion fire webhooks to make.com and applies the business rules to keep all of the data highly relevant and useful. So let's see what that looks like applied to a real example. From a company record, we're going to create a linked Project 1, Note 1, and Task 1, all pointing back to the company. Here's what that operation looks like in Notion. Next, we're going to drill down into the project. At the project level, we see that we have a link back to the company that created it. Now, from that project, we're going to create a new Note 2 and Task 2. In Notion, that looks like this. We see that Note 2 and Task 2 are linked to the Project 1 where they were created, in blue. And even though the project knows what company it is linked to, in green, Notion can't make the logical inferences that Note 2 and Task 2 should be associated with the same company as the project unless you were to manually force that relationship in the filtered views inside of every project, which is tedious and error-prone. Next, we're going to go one level deeper and add Task 3 while we're making meeting notes 2. In Notion, Task 3 shows that it came from Note 2, but it can't make the inference to either the parent project nor the project's company. The project management framework for Notion has the ability to manage these business rules that are missing from Notion. Native automations in Notion fire webhooks to make.com, which then applies the business rules to keep all of the data highly relevant and useful. Next, I'll demonstrate how the rules are applied and then come back to expand on what the project management framework for Notion can do. So when the business rules are applied, we expect the company to be aware of the project, both notes, and all three tasks. The business rule is fired by a webhook, and we see both notes and all three tasks are reflected in Notion. And from the project level, we expect to have access to the second note and second task natively, and to the third task by inference. The project is not expected to see the first note or task because those only pointed to the company and had nothing to do with the project. The business rule is fired by a webhook, and we see the second note that was already there, but now we can also see the third task as well. The core elements of the project management framework for Notion also include objectives and key results that can be tied back to your projects, as well as the ability to manage your projects by milestones, or to use Notion's native approach to managing work by sprints. In addition, In addition to the core elements of project management, the framework also lets you pull in recurring tasks as groups into your projects as part of reusable project workflows, as well as data replication services so that you can overcome the limitations of Notion's permission structure and share data with clients without compromising your central task data. You can see more details about the project management framework for Notion